Hello, hi. We are live. How are you, Dianne, Paige, and Ching? Hi. Say hello to everybody. So we are going to have a conversation with organizers of the Basic Income March. Yeah. So, how is everyone? This is a Sunday afternoon. Thank you for being with us instead of going out to play in the playground. Great. So let's do a little intro first. We'll start with Dianne first. Hi, Dianne. Could you please introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone that is watching, and my name is Dianne Pagen, and I probably know a lot of the people that may be watching, and I'm a social worker in New York City. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I don't really know what else to say except I'm helping to organize the Basic Income March. For those of you who were with us in 2019, I co-founded the Basic Income March in 2019 with a friend and colleague named James Felton Keith. Many of you know him as well. And we are really committed to seeing a national basic income for all within our lifetime. And as soon as possible. And we think that the Basic Income March is really an excellent way to really show that people believe in it and want it. So I've been working on UBI for about 16 years or so. And I guess in the past 6 years has been, 6 to 7 years actually, has been that I really tried to put even more time into it and make it kind of a real, a central focus of my life. And I really hope that we're all able to see a national basic income, very soon, before I go gray, certainly, which is already starting to happen. So that's me. That's me.
Thank you so much, Dianne. And Dianne, you are the champion of this movement, and I am involved with this group, and this movement mostly is inspired by you. So thank you so much for being a leader. And I remember 2019, I went there, had no idea what I was doing and just shooting, you guys. And then you were standing there like such a badass you're like organizer. You guys are like, have this thing on your arm. Looks like really incredibly impressed, So that movement was really good. We'll get to see clips of that march. So let's move on to Ching and below me, and introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shane. I am a stay-at-home father. I have a beautiful wife and 5-year-old daughter. And I was very inspired by Andrew Yang's 2020 presidential run. I had heard about UBI prior to that, but I did not delve into it too much. I think that we need to value all the work that we do and all the work that we're not doing, we should be doing in the community, unpaid work, caretakers, stay-at-home parents. That's really what drives me. And yeah, I was part of I drove up to New Hampshire and knocked on doors for Yang in 2020. I was a volunteer field organizer for Yang for New York campaign here in Queens. And, the movement is going to keep going. We're building momentum, 50%, at least half people in this country support UBI or some kind of cash relief now. Even with some polls, it's even if you take the side that was not as into it, the Republicans, there's some polls where 50% of them support it now. So we're making so much progress. Really excited for the next chapter.
Thank you so much, Ching. You are such a dedicated advocate, and I see you at the Young and Canvassing everywhere in New York City, and your table is so impressive. Now you're, advocate this movement. So you're very, very admired by me. So thank you so much. All right. So Paige, how are you, Paige? Long time no see.
I'm doing good. Yeah, long time no see. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been, unemployed, but staying very, very busy recently with organizing. So, a little background about myself. I went to design school in Brooklyn. I graduated from Pratt. I studied industrial design, so I come from a design background. Worked as a designer for a bit, and then kind of got pulled into the political realm. And I worked on the Yang mayoral campaign. I also worked very briefly on the presidential campaign for a couple months as like a 1 day a week intern kind of thing, which was really, really fun and eye-opening. And Yang introduced the idea of universal basic income to me, which is how I found out about it. And the more, like, it's one of those ideas that the more you read about and the more you look into, the better and better it sounds, which is just incredible. And ever since then, I've sort of been 100% on board with basic income and economic reforms in general to sort of help redistribute wealth, and then also democracy reforms, which will help kind of keep our democracy healthy. And I think UBI actually works into both of those things very well, which is why I really love it. So yeah, I'm excited for this march. It's going to be a really good one, COVID permitting, but New York is doing pretty well. So fingers crossed that all will be good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Paige. And I remember you and I had a private interview a few months ago. Yeah, it was really wonderful. So you've done such a wonderful job, and I see you everywhere. Everywhere I go, I see you in New York City. So thank you so much, and you're huge assets to our movement, to Yen's movement, to this forward movement. Yeah. So can we just talk about this coming March? Gives people a little bit details about Dianne, would you like to address that?
Sure. So September 25th, we are meeting in Harlem at West 123rd Street and between Morningside Avenue and Amsterdam Avenue. And we'll gather there at 12:30. And, once we're ready to march, we'll march. We're envisioning getting started around 1 p.m. We're going to march north on Amsterdam Avenue up into 143rd Street. And at 143rd Street, there's a very nice plaza called Johnny Hartman Plaza. It's named for a musician from Harlem. And it has a section, the plaza is car free. So we can march straight into the plaza and we'll have a stage there, and we're going to do our rally there. Much the same way people remember that in 2019 we had a stage at Roberto Clemente Plaza in Mott Haven in the Bronx. So we're going to have a similar setup in a public plaza, which is going to be fantastic because we get to talk to people and gather the attention of people who are outside who might not have known about the march. So that's very exciting. That's how we like to do our events moving forward. And we expect to have things for everyone to do. We'll have some speakers who have demonstrated interest and support for basic income. We'll have some elected representatives. We'll have some community members who have been part of pilots. And and we're doing it in, we'll have music. We'll have a lot of things. We can talk a little more about that. And of course, just like the previous marches, because of the fantastic and irreplaceable people at Income Movement. Income Movement has just been able to provide the means to the strategy and the skill to be able to have organizers in other cities replicate the basic income march. And so we're going to have, so far we have, I think, 30 cities signed on to do events around the country and also overseas in certain places overseas. So that's great too.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, Ching, would you like to talk about what have you been done to promote this march, and what else work we need to do in the rest of 3 weeks?
Sure. I'll tie it back. I'll start from the beginning, so to speak, from the Yang for New York campaign. When we started to collect signatures, we had to petition, and I decided that I wanted to go all in. I wanted to set up a table on the street. So that has lived in my car pretty much since February or March. And I wanted to think of new ways to engage people on the street, catch their attention, more than just a table with a sign, or more than just, the typical person yelling something to you, where, everybody in New York, they're just trying to walk. They're just trying to walk. You don't really look at people. You don't really stop for people. So you need, it's very helpful to have a little bit extra. So I decided, let me find out if we can power a monitor, like a TV, and I show videos. So I did that. I figured out you can get a portable AC outlet or generator, battery, goes by many names, power bank, portable power station. And I got a cheap one, and I figured out I could keep the monitor going with a speaker, and I would hook my laptop up to it. I could keep it going for 3 to 4 hours. And I did that. I played Yang's mayoral announcement speech, which also included Richie Torres, speech by Richie Torres, which was incredible. I recommend everyone to go check that out. Honestly, it could be a blueprint for anybody running for politics in New York City or anywhere. Out with the old, in with the new is the main idea. But so I played that video throughout the entire Yang campaign, and now here we are with the Basic Income March, and I'm doing the same thing. I've been playing a video that has Martin Luther King talking about guaranteed income, because that was something that he fought for, a lot, and he talked about a lot and wrote about before he got assassinated. And yeah, I've been playing that, and we've been handing out flyers. We've been talking to people, trying to dispel all the myths and the misunderstandings that people have about basic income. No, it's not communism. No, it's not. People aren't going to stop working. There are plenty of trials, and you can point to and look. I believe it's Stockton or Fulton, California. Full-time employment rose by like 43 or 47%. So yeah, we just have to get the information out to people, and I think video helps. And now, actually, I had a GoFundMe, and I raised money. I wanted to step it up to a projector. So we haven't actually done a big display of it yet. I'm still gonna have a big event. Great segue. Not for the projector, but I will have my TV set up on Wednesday, Yankee Stadium. Let me know. Come down to Yankee Stadium. We're going to go to the game after. We're going to be canvassing right across the street from the stadium at 4 p.m. There's a game at 7, so there'll be a lot of people there. And I did this one time already there, and after the game is actually really when you can really engage people. They're a little bit loose. They've had a few drinks. They're willing to talk a little bit. They're willing to give their opinion. It's really, really interesting. I don't want, so like one time I was talking to someone, and he, after the game, and he said, "Wait, that's not communism, right?" I told him, "No, it's not." And I said, basically, I was saying, we should tax corporations fairly. Like Amazon paid 0%, 0 and 1%, like 3 out of the last 4 years for federal taxes. Shouldn't they, or I said something like, if they're paying 0, can they at least pay 1, maybe 2%? Like, is that unreasonable? And that that registered with him. And he said, well, I'm not going to go to the march, but I'll donate or something. And I got his email. So yeah, we just got to keep putting the work in.
That's great. So tell us one more time. This is this coming Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday, 4 p.m.
Which is September the 8th, right? 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 p.m. You're just outside of the Yankees Stadium, right?
Yes.
You set up a table.
Yeah, I have a table. The police actually were totally fine with it. We were a little apprehensive or nervous, but it turns out the spot where we set up, which is right out in front of the McDonald's on the corner right across from the stadium, it turns out there is a surprise, there's a drainage issue in New York City. So there's a bunch of water right next to the crosswalk, and a lot of people were stepping into the puddle, like, and getting nasty water all over them right before they're probably coming from Long Island, coming from New Jersey, about to go enjoy a game, and they stick their foot in this giant, nasty New York City puddle and ruin their day. So the cop was actually very appreciative of that. We were kind of blocking that non-crosswalk area next to the crosswalk.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. So people, did you hear? So maybe you'll all go there on Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, let me share the link.
Oh yeah, please do. You can send me the link privately, then I will post on the group chat. I wanted to thank several people join us. Some young gun. Nell is here. Edmond is here. Yes. Jasmine. Is Jasmine a young gun?
Yes, Jasmine is.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
She was there with me last time at Yankee Stadium.
Hi, Jasmine. My son is here. Sean is here. Who is want to see more? Remind me. What's his name or her name? I don't remember. Want to see more. It's funny. Tyler, thank you for being here with us. So wonderful. We need people to be with us, and that's what party is. Yaya is here. Thank you so much for being here. So thank you so much, you guys. I know Nell has done a lot of things for Yangon and for the movement. So thank you so much, Nell, for your dedication. I thank you. I appreciate you. So now let's talk about Paige. Can you please tell, when people watching us, right? People who do not know what is basic income or UBI, or Adrian is called, what is he called?
He called it the freedom dividend.
Freedom dividend, excuse me. Yeah. So tell me, so how would you use a one phrase to tell people what is this UBI thing or basic income?
One phrase is challenging, but I could use so many words.
Oh, okay.
It's a guaranteed minimum income that would be provided by the government directly to people in the form of cash or like cash vouchers. That's basically it. It could take many forms. So it could be monthly, could be yearly, could be weekly, could be, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways it could manifest in the details, but at its basic core, it is a guaranteed minimum income provided by the government.
Then people, I have some people who really like me on Clubhouse, but they are not convinced about basic income. They think the money will come from federal expense. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of funding mechanisms that have been discussed for UBI. I think, what Shane mentioned earlier, one of the funding mechanisms could potentially be to actually close some tax loopholes on big companies. Another way that was proposed was Andrew Yang's Freedom Dividend. He proposed taxing automation, because automation is, destroying jobs. There's really a lot of ways to do it. It's actually not as expensive as it seems. Up front, it has a big $ bill, but it wouldn't come out of income taxes. It would come out of taxing corporations and large businesses that aren't necessarily paying their fair share currently, which is unfortunately the case for a lot of them. So it would help a tremendous number of people, not only meet their monthly needs, right? So not only would they be able to pay rent and whatever, but being able to pay rent and stay in your house and feed yourself healthier food and be less stressed will actually affect your health long term and affect lots of other aspects of your life that will save people money long term. So like if you're poor and you can't afford to get your cavity filled, right? You have to leave it, right? Eventually you're going to have to get your tooth replaced, and that's going to cost thousands more than if you had just filled the cavity with like a couple $100 up front. As opposed to with UBI, ideally that person could use that money to pay rent, buy groceries, or have a little bit of extra wiggle room so they could get their tooth fixed up front. And then they wouldn't be, we wouldn't have those long-term health effects that we see. Plus eating healthier food, right? Access to slightly more expensive groceries, perhaps like fresh vegetables, as opposed to McDonald's or ramen or whatever's cheapest at the grocery store, like salty canned goods, will allow people to be healthier. They won't have, later in life problems. And that will actually save our healthcare system a lot of money as well. Because we spend, I think, like the most of any developed country in the world on healthcare, and we have really not at all the best results. It's actually very poor. So we can save a little bit of money there, make people healthier, make people happier. It's literally like the most sensible way in my mind to cure poverty. You're just giving people money. It's like homelessness. You can really do a lot to end homelessness by just giving people homes, and you can do a lot to end poverty by just giving people money. It's a wonderful solution. Diane.
Hi, Diane.
And I just want to add to what Paige is saying, because there's one thing that I want to make sure that I add is that so one aspect of basic income that is really essential, that I think most people who are fighting for it include, is the unconditionality of a basic income. So you don't have to do anything in exchange for your basic income, and you don't have a bureaucracy means test you to decide that you're eligible. It's not taken away if you don't behave a certain way and all of that. So that's a really important part of it. And then to the people who you may have who are dedicated, fans of yours that are not convinced about basic income, and maybe they're caught up on cost, is even though it's really, to me, it's not the part of it that I'm super passionate about talking about, but I would say that it's really really the way that people look at the cost is that it's impossible for anyone to say how much it would cost to make sure everyone has a minimum floor of income. It's impossible for anyone to conclude that it would be, quote unquote, too much money or anything like that, because everyone knows that when you give people money, it generates more money. So there's no loss to it. It's actually a gain as far as basic income activists are concerned. You always have a gain, because not only are you generating more income by giving people the income that they need to meet their basic needs, but as they meet their basic needs, that weren't being met in the current system, then the cost associated with the failures of the current system decline. And that kind of goes into what Paige was saying. So to your friends and fans who are maybe a little bit on the fence, I would just say, well, look, would you rather pay through your taxes? Would you rather pay to keep a family lining up for very costly food pantry type solution to poverty and use coats and all that other stuff that is done now that costs a lot of money, a lot of tax money, and it fails anyway? Or would you rather that we use our tax money more wisely and we make it that people never have to get into that position in the first place? And
Yeah.
I think that you can get to people that way, you know. And the other thing about it is, like, I think we have to have a conversation over time about, okay, so what are the essentials to pay for to invest in a good society? Like, and we were talking about this earlier today. You know, it's super expensive to have a sewer system, right? Should we decide not to have a sewer system in a modern society? Like, no, of course we need a sewer system. We also need emergency systems like fire department. Fire department's really expensive, and you know what? Probably 80% of the time we don't need it. But you can be damn sure that the other 20%, if we didn't have it, we wouldn't have a society. And it's the same thing with income. We have to start looking.
Uh-oh. Dianne? Dianne's connection is not good.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's okay. Can we, how about we'll play a section of the previews? Oh, you want to say something, Shane, please? Your microphone.
I can give a shot at the summing up UBI in one statement thing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's something I think I heard from Scott Stanton's verse. It's the freedom to say yes and the power to say no. And the most, I think the most understandable context of that would be in employment, when you have bad work conditions, or you have someone abusing you at work, harassing you, not being fair to you, not respecting you and your contributions and your value. Right now, we need work to survive, just to survive, just to get food in our mouth, and not freeze to death. We need money, and this is the world that we're in. So we cannot say no often. I mean, yeah, you can try and look for another job, but it's not that easy. And a lot of people are paycheck to paycheck or worse. You cannot take a break for a week or two or three. You gotta wait 2 weeks just to get your paycheck once you start working. I mean, we need a buffer. So UBI would give us the freedom to say yes to a different job, try something new there might be a risk associated with that. Like, what if we fail? Well, at least we know we're not going to starve to death and freeze to death. And it gives us the power to say no to bad opportunities or to an existing employer that is taking advantage of you.
Thank you. Well said. Did you see Trump for Yen is in our audience? Thank you, Dennis. Great to have you. So
yeah, he brought up a really good point about like the
Shall I bring
velocity
it up? Let
of
me
money.
bring it up.
So I think we are in a pandemic, and early on there was really great fear about the economy plummeting and all of that, which we did see. And in times like that, people start to hold on to their money and they don't want to spend it. And I mean, also they were losing their jobs, they didn't have money to spend. And that like slows down what's called the velocity of money in the economy, meaning like people have money, but it's not changing hands. And one thing that UBI would do a really good job of improving is increasing the velocity of money so that it would be able to change hands more frequently. That's kind of like one way to measure the health of an economy is the velocity of the money. So I mean, obviously you don't want the velocity to be too high, but in a healthy economy, right, money should be circulating regularly. And UBI provides that like cash in hand for people to go spend and circulate. And the money in the hands of poor folks tends to get circulated faster because they are not going to just shove it away in savings. They're not going to shove it away in like in an investment firm, right? It's going to be spent on like groceries or a coffee shop in their neighborhood or fixing their car or fixing their roof or like an extracurricular thing for their kids. And that's like very immediate circulation within their community. So yeah.
Great.
Definitely a good point.
Yeah. The way I like to refer to that is like, yeah, we need to not do the trickle down anymore. We need a trickle up economy. And then because if the money is going to go up to the top anyway, they're going to get it anyway, even if we get it. So why don't we get some people housed and clothed and fed, and then it can trickle up.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If we all got UBI, Amazon is gonna. I mean, imagine like, Amazon stock is going to go through the roof as soon as everyone got UBI. Right? I mean, people would be purchasing crazy. I mean, it would be extremely good for the economy. Every time we saw cash payments go out, for the pandemic, the relief payments, we saw like an insane increase in the economy and spending. Right. So it's going to be good for everyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. So shall we play just a minute or two of our past March? Let's for some people just join us. We are here talking about basic income March, which is going to happen for the third time. The first year was 2019, and last year we also did one was mainly by bicycle, and this year we're going to doing it in person in Harlem in New York City. Basically is starting point is I could look it down from my window. So you're all welcome to my house to party afterwards. So anyway, I cook you Chinese food. Anyway, so we're gonna show a excerpts of 2019. The video I made for us, and and then maybe we could show another one, 2020. Both are really, it's kind of long, but I don't know, I think it's 16 minutes long, but we're just gonna play a short clip, and you can see that on my Juhl Media YouTube channel. Okay, so I click on the share and then go there. Okay, 2020. Okay, so let's mute ourselves. Okay, so can we mute ourselves, please? Okay, all right, here we go. So yeah, I think I'll just start from beginning. It's pretty exciting. We are getting ready for the Universal Basic Income March. Today is October the 26th. So, where you come from today? Connecticut.
From the Upper West Side, New York City.
Upper West Side, oh, that's cool, so far away.
I'm from Hoboken, New Jersey. Montreal.
Hoboken, New Jersey, yes.
Montreal.
So,
He's from Montreal, Canada.
Canada. Oh, you got the trophy from us. This is in Harlem, New York City.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
That's Dianne.
Democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Right on.
Show me some money.
This time, I know they say this before, but this time, we will achieve universal basic income for all.
Spanish.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Money, not evil.
The police was escorting us. So awesome.
Money's not evil. Money's not evil.
Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money.
This connection sometimes stops.
Give power to the people. Give power to the people. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna stop this for now.
Well, universal basic income was described in 1916, I think it was, by Bertrand Russell as a certain small income, enough for necessaries, should be given to.
Okay, so I'm trying to stop it, and it's kind of hard to stop. All right, hold on 1 second. Yeah, so there's a lot of great footage there. Yeah, so please watch it on your own leisure. Yeah, so yeah, now could we just freestyle chipping in?
And
Yeah,
that footage made me so nostalgic. Oh my gosh. For pre-COVID, for like the early Yang Gang days. It was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. I feel like the Yang Gang sort of took that march over a little bit, but I don't feel bad about that. It was a lot of fun. I remember being in that march, and I just was like, I was walking in the street, and we took up one whole side of the road, and then the other side of the road was cars, and I was just telling like, you get $1,000, you get $1,000, like every person that walked by, and people reacted very positively. It was really a lot of fun. I would really welcome encourage anyone to come if you just like want to get some shouting off your chest. Like it's very therapeutic. It's like you exercise, you have a lot of fun, you see a lot of people. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, don't let me forget, you guys. I inherited a big megaphone from NGN, like 20 NGN mayorships. They just the team left it in my car. We were still canvassing the last second for NGN's, New York City mayor. So if you guys need a megaphone, it's really big and heavy though. Like
we can take it. We'll take it.
Okay. So just let you know, it's in my car,
Yeah. And the great thing about marches is that like that march was great because of every single person that came. So, right, it's like it's just every single person added to it, and we really want a lot of people there. So if you're watching and maybe you're not sure if you're coming or you might have something else to do, just change your plans and come and bring your friends, bring a few people with you, and it will be just as great as it was the first time. It's up to us to make it great. So, but I'd really just encourage people to come. And really, like, social media is a great, it's a great thing, a great amplifier. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't have the event, then there's nothing to amplify. If you're amplifying, but then you don't come, that's not helpful to the movement. You know what I hope everybody understands what I mean. So like, you coming to the movement is worth way more than you tweeting a dozen times that other people should come. Just bring those people, call your friends. What are you doing? Let's make a plan. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe we should host a calling party relational organizing calling party, campaign style, and just all sit there and call all our friends and tell them to come.
Yes.
Because I need to do that, and I would be more likely to do it if we all did it in a call together.
Yeah. You can come to my place if you want to. Oh, you know what? I was also thinking the links. I will put the both March link. I also gave it to you already. The March of 2019 and the March of 2020. I will put it in the link below. Maybe you can put it on your Facebook or whatever book, you know. So let people see what we have done. I mean, it's so awesome, right? So it's a visually stunning. The marches we did in the past, it really is so much fun. And I don't know how you pulled together the first one, Dianne. I mean, because I was not part of it. I'm like just coming. I'm like a eater, you know. I go to the restaurant, I just fucking eat, you know. And you guys did all the fucking work. You did all the preparation. So how'd you do that?
People power. People power. Yeah, everybody had a task. There's, you know, no task is too small for someone to take up, and it all comes together. It was, So we have a lot of people to be grateful to. In fact, some of the people that made it great are probably, you know, on this session right here. So.
One of the like a little
question.
Sorry. Can I just add a little bit on to what Dianne was saying? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just a little bit of insight into what goes into planning a march, right? There's a lot of permits that have to be acquired. Thankfully, in New York City, it's like fairly easy to get a permit, but it still takes a lot of time and effort and emailing and pestering of officials. There's also, right, like you have to rent equipment. You have to make sure that signs are provided and that they're designed in time and printed in time and transported in time, and that you have people who can stand around the march and like act as sort of like shepherds to guide people. And you have to have people willing to be out in front with the megaphone, and you have to have like chants arranged ahead of time. And, you know, we might want to have buttons or certain merchandise that we're going to have more folks wear. So there's like a lot of stuff that goes into it that you may not see on the day of the march. But
big sign.
Yeah, I mean,
big
shout
sign,
out to
small sign, right? You
big
have
signs, small signs, all sorts of signs. Hopefully we'll have big banners to carry in front and also small signs for people to carry individually. I'm actually going to host a sign making party because handmade signs are really fun. And like, I don't know, they add some spice and character to things. So we're going to have a sign making party. I'm probably going to host it this coming weekend. I don't have a time yet, but coming weekend, we're going to probably meet up in a park somewhere, and I'll bring some posters and paints and stuff, and we'll do some handmade signs. I really enjoy that stuff. So if anyone's interested, keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll probably post about it.
Yeah, and just to make sure that people find out about the sign making party and whatever people need to, I would encourage people to go to the Basic Income March website, and then basically you have to click on a couple of things, but find the New York event and RSVP to the New York event. The reason it's so important is because if you RSVP today, then you automatically will get all the updates. So you'll know when the sign making party is and where. You know, you'll know everything that you need to know about the day. You'll be in the loop. So that would be fantastic. You know, that's really the best way to stay in the loop. And of course, also the Income Movement Twitter account, the Income Movement Instagram account will tell you things too. But the best way is to RSVP at the website.
Yeah, I saw your website. It looks really good. Now, I'm just pulling it out right now. Whoops, sorry. Can we answer Dennis's question? I'm not sure who is this person.
Can't see the question.
Oh, on your
a little bit if you want.
On your on the audience, Dennis said, "Would you welcome Curtis Slivar to the basic income?" Yeah. What is it?
So Curtis Sliwa is running for mayor. So he's a mayoral candidate. He's the Republican nominee from the mayoral. race, and he has, I believe, in his platform a UBI trial program that he would like to institute, which is super exciting. Because the Income Movement is a nonprofit, the certain way that they are filed as a nonprofit, we cannot have actively running candidates be speakers at the march. Although anyone is welcome to come and talk to folks as we're walking along, that is absolutely welcomed. Yeah, I mean, we're very happy to see anyone supporting UBI in any capacity. So,
Okay,
That's right. Yeah.
So, okay, here we go. This is the basic income march, a sort of a subdivision of website, right? It's called, it's about March, just about. So it talks about, it begins with passion activity. It talks about 2019, actually very specifically said about social worker and co-founder of Basic Income, New York City, Dianne Pagen, and 2020 candidate for U.S. Congressional Congress, James Felton Keith. Came together with the goal of organizing a public event in a show of force and inclusion for basic income. So that's a very nice website, nice pictures, and then so let's talk about past and then talk about 2020 again, and then it has some pictures of these people who supported for the movement. So
also in addition to that website, there's the Income Movement website, which is amazing too. Income Movement is an awesome organization, and I would encourage people, in addition to the march, just to get involved in some of the things that are going on. It's really just really the level of work that Income Movement has taken on is it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So does anyone have anything to chip in at this second? Shall we play a little bit of 2020? Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just say, I just mentioned, I dropped a link for folks to sign up for, or to RSVP for the New York event into our chat here. If you could share it with the YouTube folks, that would be awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, Paige.
Otherwise, I would love to watch a clip.
Okay, now I got it. Let me put it in here. So tell us one more time, what is the link for there?
It's a long link, but it's basically if you go to the basic income, if you search basic income march on any browser, it'll come up.
It's right here, right?
And you can sort of click through, but this link will take you straight to the sign up page for New York City, I believe. So
okay.
And then that way you'll be looped into all of our updates whenever, if there's any time changes, any slight location changes, which is unlikely at this point, but just in case, any information about, maybe canvassing ahead of time with Shane and folks, or sign making parties, we'll put out that information as well. So, and keep an eye on the Twitter and the social medias and everything. We'll put it out there too.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't see you guys private chat about other stuff. Sorry. Hey, so no more comments during the thing. Let me take out the scrolling thingy also, so we do not have any distractions. Wait, not this.
And I like Christina. I wanna just mention Christina's comment.
Yes.
Just show up. Just show up. That's
Christina.
Gonna be the best thing.
Where is Christina? Where is she from?
I don't know exactly which Christina it is. There's several Christinas that I know in the movement.
Christina W. Christina W. Hi, Christina W.
Comment. So
yes, we need a participation. Just show up. Yeah, show up. Show up is a very good word. Show up to work. Show up to events. Show up to your friend's birthday. Just freaking show up. Huh?
She's from California.
Oh, hi, Christina, Bay Area. Awesome. Oh yeah. So while I'm looking for the video, Shing, can you can you just tell us this September 25th is not just New York, it's many, many cities. So how many cities we have in the simultaneously have this march?
Well, Dianne would know more than me about how many cities there are. I know there's 3 in California, if that helps.
It's more than 30 cities internationally, which is really exciting. If you go to the Basic Income website, you can actually see a nice map of all the cities laid out. So there's little markers everywhere, which is really exciting because there's some happening overseas as well. And you can, if you're not in New York, you won't come to ours, which is not fun, but you can go to the other ones, which will also be fun. Check out which one is closest to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now,
internationally, there's I wouldn't be able to say them all because there's too many of them, but Berlin was the first city to sign on, to sign on in 2019 once New York was announced, and Berlin is going to do a march again, and they really did an amazing event. And Amsterdam as well is participating.
That's great.
There's quite a few.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So let me just tell you what I'm going to play. This is a video I made that we had this Basic Income March 2020 in last year. There's very many elements. There's speeches in front of the Metropolitan Museum, the steps. There's a bicycle parade, and there's also there's like 1,000 or more 1,400 signs made by volunteers and was installed in an area in Central Park. That was like incredibly moving to see, and and it was a really successful march. Many people came. Lots of politicians, local politicians came, right? So people from different district or parts of New York City, and made a speech and talk about UBI. So I met that event. I met my neighbor. What's his name? Corey, Ortega. So, and I helped him to campaign a little bit. Yeah. So here we go. Let's watch. I may jump around, okay, if it gets too long. And here we go. I'm too ambitious. This is a 4K.
This is the second annual Basic Income March. We're doing a New York City Fight Parade so that we can conform with COVID social distancing. Now, last year we marched from Harlem to the Bronx for a basic income. We know that income is essential to a stable and prosperous society. And there is no reason to see the kinds of poverty that we see around us getting worse and worse, especially now due to the COVID financial and health crisis. Because of this, we're doing a socially distant event because now is not the time to stop doing activism when things are only getting worse. We need to double down on the activism.
We have provided food for many of our residents, including a huge population of seniors. The joy that it's brought to them has been incredible, but also heartbreaking to think that they'd be food insecure living in Midtown Manhattan. This is reprehensible. That anyone living in Midtown Manhattan would be food insecure at this time is something we should all be.
I'm just forward, okay? It's because it's a long talk.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. Beautiful weather. The weather has blessed us.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Okay. If you're coming with us on the bike ride, please gather around a little bit. We're gonna go over some like basic safety and.
Fast forward. That's a great scene. It's a bike.
Why are you here today?
I'm here because honestly, I'm trying to represent the income movement, gang for life. New York City, I got one of the best communities out here.
One check is not enough. Basic income. Basic income. One check is not enough.
This shot by Sean, my son, from his bike, put the GoPro bought by Dianne for us. So Sean shot that, and I was shooting from different angle.
Basic income. Basic income.
Okay, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. So this goes on for a long time.
Basic income.
Okay, so this went on for a while.
We need to build a brighter future for New York City and all of America.
One check is not enough. One check is not enough. One check is not enough. UBI. UBI. UBI.
All right, I'm gonna bring you to the next. I think that's. Never mind. Okay. So the next segment is you get to see all the installation.
Oh, feeling fantastic. We had a great bike parade. And now we're here with a number of community leaders, several people who are running for the New York City Council, as well as members of the COVID Coalition who are helping people in need during the pandemic. And we've come out, we're in Central Park at 84th Street and Fifth Avenue, which, as you know, is one of the highest rent districts in the entire, in the entirety of.
Okay, here we go.
Every eviction notice represents a family or an individual who has already gone through the eviction process and would have been kicked out had it not been for the COVID-19 moratorium. So this is only 10% of the 14,500 individual households and family households who will be kicked out imminently of their homes and.
We're glad we all have masks.
That's Ching.
Yeah.
I wore that shirt yesterday.
Oh yeah. Hey, we should have this activity too. You're making that. That's so awesome. Okay, so yeah. Okay, that's great. Yeah. All right, thank you. So, yeah, so that was wonderful. Okay, so anyone else? Can we do a round of closing comments? How about starting with Paige?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, the most
echoing.
successful. Yeah, there's a little bit of an echo going on, but the most successful part of the march last year, the bike parade, was actually, in my opinion, the art installation. I think at that point there had been quite a lot of marches and parades and protests going on, and New Yorkers can be a little, I don't know, numb to those things sometimes. So the art installation was actually so attention grabbing that we were able to engage a lot more people. I mean, also we weren't like speeding by them on bikes at that point, so we were, in their face, able to hand them the flyer, able to have conversations with them, and that was a really, really successful part of the event. We're actually trying to incorporate that into this year's march as well. So at the end of the march, in that plaza, in that square space, we'll have speakers and things going on, but we're also going to have tables and flyering and different activities going on, and we're also hoping to have some art as well to help kind of bring in the public. And we're working with some local mural artists who might be able to do some art in the area, hopefully, that we could unveil as part of the march, because UBI is something that is really going to affect in all communities really, but in particular that community and artists. So we want to include them as well.
Great, thank you so much. Ching, you wanted to do some closing remarks?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for having us on. I'm just really excited for this march, for the next part of everything that we're doing. I think, it's not all about Yang, but that's my introduction to this arena. So, and it's my experience. So I do talk about it a lot. But coming out of when he lost the primary, I think a lot of people's hopes were, people felt down. We were. It's disappointing. Although I am happy that he doesn't have to deal with the stress of the job. But just like when he lost. When he stepped out of the presidential run, we're all looking towards the next thing. We're all confident. We know that we have each other's backs on the most important things. The most important thing is UBI, campaign finance reform, voting. We need to get past. I think we need to be bipartisan for as long as we can, and then eventually we'll be nonpartisan, because we should not have just two parties. We need to do something a little bit more creative, and work together, and be civil. That's the most important part. And I wanted to announce here. I mean, a lot of people know this already, but from this movement, from that campaign, there were a lot of additional voices, a lot of new faces that were not part of the 2020 campaign, and I think we're so ecstatic here in New York for the new family that we have coming out of this mayoral run. We love each other so much, it's actually kind of sickening. It can get a little bit too much. So the point being, we started a Democratic club here in the city. It's called New Leaf Democratic Club. And we already had a couple meetings. I encourage you to check us out at New Leaf Dems on Twitter. And we have made the basic income march our number one priority, number one project until the day of the march. So yeah, it's very important to us. UBI and economic justice are two of the most important things that we're fighting for.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ching. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you, and interesting. And now, thank you so much for your remark. Yes, we need to be bipartisan. Indeed. Yeah. Whether Republican or Democrat or third party, right? UBI should be something we all can strive for, right? I mean, it's not left, it's not right. Thank you so much. All right, Dianne, would you like to close?
Just that I would love to see every single person that is on the call to come to a march wherever you are. Go to the closest one you possibly can. And if you're near New York City, it would be, our ask is very simple. We're all we all want this. We've all been working at it for a long, long time. People who were working on Andrew's presidential campaign, both campaigns, but centrally the presidential campaign, were drawn to him because not because he had several good ideas, right? But the principal idea that we were united around was universal basic income, and I think that he would want everyone to be working in the space. I'll take that leap and say that I think that he would want people to be putting aside whatever it is. It's more important to support an idea than it is to support, kind of a candidacy. Really, it's really about the idea, right? We're supporting the ideas, and I think that the best way for Yang Gang members to move forward on turning that idea into reality is to really get focused in on the people doing the work on basic income, and that's Income Movement. It's everyone that is part of the the partners in the coalition, and so we really want everyone to come. And being on the ground is super important. We need every single person, and we would love it if you would, perhaps you want to think about identifying a few people you would like to walk the mile with and invite them and come out, and we'll have a fantastic time. And we have a lot to celebrate too, in the movement for a UBI. We have a ton to celebrate. We've got over 50 mayors, U.S. mayors, who are on board for the guaranteed income, whereas in 2019, I think we had one, Trailblazer Michael Tubbs, right? And so we have that. We have the expanded child tax credit. That wouldn't have happened without all of us talking about income as a right. That wouldn't have happened. So we have a lot. We've done a lot, but we still need to do a lot. And we know that the best way to show that a movement is real is to show up in real life. So we can't wait to have another march. Actually, we can wait. We need these 3 weeks to prepare. We really do. But so we can wait, but at the same time, we're very excited, and we want everyone to be excited with us. So September 25th, we're gathering at 12:30. Please RSVP so you'll be in the loop and you won't miss anything, and you won't miss the sign making party that Paige is working on. And if you'd like to help, you can also get in touch, because we're going to need people the day of. We have all kinds of little tasks that need to get done. So you could email us. Whose email should we give? I guess I could give mine. Mine is Dianne@incomemovement.com, but I'm sure that there's also a general email on the Income Movement website that you can reach out to.
Is that earlier Paige gave us this link? Is that for it's actionnetwork.org? Is that the one to sign up, right, Paige? Okay. Yeah, so it's this one. Okay. It's this one. You can sign up for participate, right? To help or to join the meeting?
Okay, yeah, I think it actually has a mechanism that you can specify whether you'd like to also help besides marching.
I'm going to update all these information in the description below in this video. Okay, so including like email if you want to provide. Yeah, so people can click on that. Great, and
also,
yes, dear.
Feel free to reach out to any of us on Twitter if you want to help. Or like whatever way you can get in contact with us, we'd be happy to. So
yeah, okay. I will also put a short version of each of us biography in the description below. I know Xing's is pretty short, but probably we all put a short one, and then with some kind of a I don't know, social media handles you want to share so people can reach us. Okay, so in the description. Okay, and then thank you so much, and please, if you have not subscribed Juhl Media YouTube channel, please do. I'm working on that. I'm working really hard, and every week I have been interviewing people since March last year. This would be like 120, I don't know, 3 episodes. So I've interviewed a lot of people in many genres, musicians, composers, filmmakers, and some of the politicians, yeah, so thank you so much for being with me. And don't forget to click on the the thumb on this video. So I don't usually ask people to do that, but what the heck. So if you like it, click it. And yeah, so anything else? Cat just left. Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome. And all right, so I'm gonna closing with the audience for now, and then you stay just for 2 minutes, okay? You stay. So I need to have a question for you.
All right, the audience.
yeah. Thank you so much, audience. Thank you for being with us. It's really great to see old names, new names, and old faces. And thank you, Nell, for being with us. You're awesome. All right. Okay, great. Until next time, I'll see you. Hopefully, if not before September 25th, but on September 25th. Hope to see you. Okay. I'll buy you a drink or I serve you Chinese food. Bye. Bye-bye. And the broadcast.